my name's Julie. Thanks for joining me today. And in this video, I'm going to give you some basic steps to create a very simple but pretty planner layout. I know many of you are starting with a brand new planner in July, and some of you may never have done a planner spread before. So what I'm hoping to do is take away any stress or anxiety as you stare at your blank planner pages. As well as creating a spread with you, I'm also going to give you some ideas of how you could go about filling it in. And I know there may be some of you watching who don't have all the things, all the Happy Planner stickers, washi tapes. So I'm also going to make a second spread following the same process, but not using any stickers at all. Even if you're not a new planner, you may find something in this video useful, particularly for those times when you're lacking inspiration. It happens to all of us. Or you just need to get your planner spread done super quick. This video is based around the vertical Happy Planner layout, as that is the one that is the most popular in Happy Planner world. But it doesn't matter whether you have a classic size or a big, the steps I share are going to be the same. Let's begin with the spread using stickers. I'm going to use some boxes created by myself on the computer, but there are generally boxes in any sticker book or sticker kit. And there are also plenty of books that are just full of boxes of different shapes and sizes. Happy Planner have the colourful boxes and the mega boxes sticker book. And probably the most famous is Mojo Jojo Plans, who has plain and lined boxes of pretty much every colour under the sun. I'm also going to be using some stickers from Live Love Posh, quite an old book this one, Muted Blooms. And I'm going to be bringing in the Happy Planner checklist stencil. Don't worry though, if you don't have those things, as I say, I'm also going to show you how you can also create a functional but pretty spread without any planner supplies. I'm just using some pages from an old planner, and I've whited out the dates at the top because this is going to be an undated spread. I'm calling this Julie's BCD of planning. So the first thing we're going to start with is the letter B, which is for boxes. I'll be honest, I would have liked to call it the ABC of planning, but I couldn't think of anything beginning with A. So keeping this really simple, I'm taking a longer box and I'm going to put it into the sidebar. Trying my best to stick it straight, but if it doesn't work, we're not going to be too fussy today. Now the vertical layout is divided into 3 rows. So we're going to be working on each row one at a time. As this is the first in this series, I'm going to start at the top. And as I say, keeping it simple, I'm going to put a box in every single day. Now you might be thinking, how do you know you're going to need a box on every single day? Well, we'll talk about that when I come to write in the planner. But I do find it useful to have a box on every day. That's how I do my planning. If you've seen any of my Plan With Me's, you'll know that, although I don't think I've ever put all the boxes on the same row before. But this is very simple. You may notice that my boxes go inside the boxes on the page. They don't fit exactly. That's because that's how I've created them. If you have a big planner and you're using classic size stickers, that's sort of the look you will get. But if you're using classic size Happy Planner stickers, they will all butt up against each other. Nothing wrong with that. That's just not the look that I like. Also, being completely honest, I don't make any money from my channel or have any income at all to do with planning. So I don't really want to use my classic size boxes. It's much easier if I just print these out because they don't cost me very much. So just like that, your boxes are done. As I say, it doesn't have to be on the top row. That's just what I'm doing this time. Now on to C, and C is for checklists. There are all sorts of things you can use for checklists in your planner, and in future videos I'll chop and change when it comes to this stage. But for now, I'm going to use the Happy Planner checklist stencil. You don't have to have a special pen to write in your planner. In the past, I've written very successfully with this big biro. But I do like the Muji 0.38 for using with the checklist stencil. If you're using a classic size Happy Planner, then the lines will go all the way across. The reason I have this piece of washi here is just because I prefer the look where the lines don't go all the way across. but for the sake of this video, I will just use it as it's meant to be. I'm not actually going to use the squares at the moment, and again, I'll explain why when it comes to filling it in. So I'll probably speed this bit up. When you're doing the checklist stencil, it's best to try to do it as quickly as possible as you go across. Let's see how that worked. Not too bad. Sometimes I do find that you get little globs of the gel pen, but you can always wipe those out if they bother you. The checklists are done, and you can see that I got a tiny little bit of pen on the page there. So I'm just going to use a Jelly Roll 10 Sakura pen to wipe that out. You can also use the Uniball Signo. I do prefer that one. It's a little bit juicier and covers a little bit better. So we've done our boxes, we've done our checklists, and D is for decoration. Decoration includes washi, stickers, scrapbook paper, stamping, anything that adds that decoration to your page. So for this video, I'm going to use florals because florals are big in the planner world. You may not be a fan of florals, so it doesn't have to be florals. And in future videos, I'm going to show different sorts of things that you can use. But I think that floral stickers are the easiest to get hold of, and judging from how many there are out there, the most popular. I've got this sheet that's fallen out, so I thought I would use these florals. And because I want to keep things really simple, I'm not going to bring any washi into this spread today. All it takes to make a pretty spread is add flowers at the bottom. So I'm just going to add these. These are paper stickers. Sometimes it's easier to work with clear stickers. Because we've got a big floral here, I'm going to use this other big floral in the opposite corner, just for balance, which is something I talk about a lot on my channel. And we're just going to keep going. You can use whole florals, or what I've done with this one is cut it in half. The drawback with the paper stickers is they do have quite a wide white border, so clear stickers are better for overlapping. What I'm going to do now is take an X-Acto knife and I'm going to trim around the edge. Don't have to do that, you could leave the flowers as they are. But sometimes it's just nice to have them in a straight line. I'm just going to turn the paper so that I can get this line straight. I know a question often asked is how hard do you press with your X-Acto knife so that you don't cut through the paper. It just takes practice, and even I cut through the paper from time to time. It's not a disaster if that happens, it really isn't. There we go. I do think it looks a lot neater when you do that, and it looks like they're popping out onto the page. We're not quite done with decoration because part of decoration includes quotes, and I think a quote would look perfect in this corner here to finish off the spread. I've just grabbed a Happy Planner sticker book because Jessica's don't have any quotes in them, but you'll find in most Happy Planner sticker books you either have decorative boxes that have quotes within them, or you have pages that have clear quotes that you can add to a page. So I think we will just add a decorative box down the corner. I've grabbed this Keep Blooming because it seems to fit in with the flowers, and I'm just lining it up with the bottom. As this is a paper sticker, you could colour the florals to match the colours at the bottom, but I'm keeping it simple and just leaving it as it is. And that is it in its simplest form. Boxes, checklists, decoration. Obviously, when using this spread, you would add the month and the numbers at the top, but apart from that, it's ready to use. So before I show you how I'd make this spread without any stickers, I want to talk a little bit about how you'd go about filling this in. Obviously, I can only make suggestions because only you know what you want to use your planner for. But as I say, if you're trying to be functional as well as decorative, having a box on every day as well as a space for writing to-dos is a really good start. I still see new planners posting on Facebook that they've bought a planner but they can't bring themselves to use it, or that they've been staring at the blank pages for ages but don't know where to start. So I do hope this has given you a good starting point. There are lots of different things that you could put in your sidebar. I'm only going to give you a few suggestions today, just enough to get you started. I might as well write it in there as a list. So number one, most obvious, which is how I use my sidebar, is to use it as a to-do list. You could list out your key tasks for the week and also transfer them to the days that they need to be done. You might want to use the sidebar for meal planning. Not something that I've ever done, but I know a lot of planners do like to do meal planning so that they're well prepared. You could use the sidebar for a gratitude list. Good way to start the week, thinking of things to be grateful for. You might want to list out any key dates or events. So you might have some birthdays or things that need to be done on a certain day that you might want to write in the sidebar as a reminder. Something else you might want to do is make a note of bills that are due in the week. And another thing that I have used the sidebar for is to track expenses, write down all the things that I've bought in that week just to keep a running total. You might like to leave this box to the end of the week and write a weekly review. And one last idea is to use this box for fitness or well-being. That's definitely not an exhaustive list, but I just wanted to give you some ideas of what you could use that box for. So you may be thinking, there's a lot of space to fill in. How am I going to fill all this space? Well, let's just take Monday as an example and assume that you do lead quite a busy life. If it was me and I had, say, an appointment on the Monday, I would be putting that in the box, and then here I would be writing my to-do list. One of the things you can do if you need to fill space is write in larger writing, or if you've got a lot to write, you'll need to write in smaller writing. So let's just make up something. This is not a real spread. I'm going to write quite large. Doctor appointment at, I'm not going to write the name of my surgery, I'll just write surgery. And then if that's all I've got for that day and I've still got all this space to write in, I could write what the appointment is about, or I could just write in really large letters what the time is. Like that. That fills the box. And now I can write my to-dos. Let's just put a few down that I usually do on a Monday. It might be clean kitchen, washing, tidy up, put, out. And sometimes you haven't got enough room to write, so that's fine, just go on to another line. That's one of the reasons I don't put the checkboxes in always straight away. Let's just add a few more Hoover and change sheets. So now I can go in with my checklist stencil if I want to, or I could just draw the boxes myself. And you can see that Monday is complete. You've got a little bit of space down the bottom there that you could either leave just to keep it looking nice and neat, or something might happen that day that you want to write about. You might want to write about what the weather was like, or something that happened in that day that you want to remember. Maybe some happy mail arrived. So you have got this space as well that you can use. So let's just assume some happy mail arrived. I'm just going to do slightly different writing. That's something I do when I'm filling in my planner. Just vary the writing. So I'm using a sort of block font. And I might write in a smaller pen what it was. From Happy Planner. You'll see I haven't written straight, that's fine. I'm just writing around the flowers, that doesn't bother me. So that's an example of how you'd fill up a day. But let's talk about what you do with these spaces if you haven't got as much to write. Say for example, on Tuesday, you've got lots of to-dos. So again, I'm going in with my checklist stencil. Well, actually, no, I'll just show you. I can do it without the checklist stencil. You can just draw the boxes yourself. They won't be as perfect, but that's fine. They're there to do a job just so that you can tick them. So what are you going to do with this box here? You've got nothing else on Tuesday. You've just got your to-dos. You haven't got any appointments. One of the easy things to do is fill that box with more decoration. I could just bring in another one of the florals. And I think I'm going to put it the other way up. Put it in the box. I could trim round if I want to, but I don't have to. And then that box is now used. Another thing you can do with the boxes is just to add a quote. So let's just grab this Bloom with Grace and we'll just pop that in the middle. And call that finished. If you don't have any to-dos for Wednesday, you could do some of the things I've suggested. You might write down what television programs you're watching, how you're feeling, what the weather's like. I know there are lots of YouTube videos out there. There's a really good one from Mary Ellen, Planning with Bumble, about what to write in your planner when you're not busy. And as this video isn't really about that, just more of a general overview, I'm not going to go into any greater detail. I just wanted to show you that it's not a problem putting a box on every day. If you don't end up using every box, you can add things to it and still fill up your planner. And the same with the checklist area. I want to finish this video by showing you how you can make this spread without using any stickers, just in case you're in that early stage where you haven't really got very much. Unfortunately, once you fall down the Happy Planner rabbit hole, it doesn't seem to take long. I remember the good old days when I just had 2 sticker books. It didn't last very long, but boy, was life much easier when I only had 2 sticker books to use. My spreads weren't as good, I will say that, but I didn't have to waste so much time flipping through all the books to find the perfect sticker. So let's get another blank spread. This has probably been a really long video so far. So I don't want to spend too long on this, but let's start with B for boxes. If you don't have any stickers, you can draw your boxes. I'm going to assume you have a pen and a ruler at the very least just to do that. So I'm just going to do a box in the sidebar. If you have got colour pens, like I've got some Crayola Super Tips, you can make the lines a little bit thicker. And you don't have to worry too much about it being straight, because it will have that sort of doodled look if it's not quite straight. So let's do the boxes at the top. We'll start with just a basic box. I'm doing it inside the lines because that's how I like it. See, it went a bit wobbly there, but doesn't matter. Now let's do one that's a little bit different. It's going to be a bit like a picture frame. Could do a stitch look all around for a box. And I want you to bear in mind, I don't consider myself an artist in any way. I'm really quite bad at drawing. We could do a scalloped box, like in the new back to school release, there are some scalloped boxes. You could just add a little bit of detail to the box, like maybe do a bow or something at the top. You could do like the stamp edging all the way around. I'm sorry I'm not talking, but I really do have to concentrate when I'm drawing, otherwise, oh, like that, it's going to go wrong. And maybe finally do something with some stripes. I do that with my lettering quite a lot. Just decorate the border. And there you have lots of different boxes, so you can draw your own boxes. If you haven't got the checklist stencil, then you've got your ruler and you can draw your lines. In fact, probably a lot easier because you could just go right across, get them all done at the same time. Yes, they might not be exactly the same width apart, but good enough. Then for your quote, you can just letter a quote. So I'm trying to remember what we had. Keep blooming. So just going to letter. Keep. Hope I'm going to fit this in. Probably not. Keep bloom. Well, I'm just going to carry on. Keep blooming. And then what about the decoration at the bottom, you'll say, without any stickers? Well, if you haven't got anything else, then you can draw. And as I say, I can't draw, but as this is a floral spread, I'm just going to do some florals. I'm going to do some sort of grass, and then I'm going to try and do some basic florals. And they're not going to be great, but they're not going to be terrible. Oh, that one's a little bit funny because it's got how many petals? Far too many. Again, if you've got colour pencils, then you can colour these in. Not quite sure what I'm doing here, but maybe do some diamond petals on this one. That will do. A little bit more grass. And I haven't done any leaves. Should perhaps do some leaves on the stem. And then maybe a few more. Okay, you get the idea. It's not great, but it is decoration. And I have got a spread that has got boxes, checklists, and some decoration with a quote. I only really wanted to do this to demonstrate that it isn't impossible to do a spread without stickers, but I will admit it is quite hard. Having said that, you don't need all the stickers, just 1 or 2 sticker books, some boxes and some decoration, maybe a seasonal, and that should last you a fair while. I do hope this video has been of some use to you. Let's just compare the 2 spreads. So we've got our hand-drawn one, and then we've got our one with the stickers. In the next video, I'm going to take you through the BCD planning process again and just make it a little bit more complicated, not too much. I want to take this very slowly, maybe bring in some washi, and also play around a little bit with the position of the boxes and checklists on the page. I hope you'll tune in for that video. Remember to subscribe and click the notification bell so that you don't miss it. Hope you're feeling a little bit less anxious about tackling your planner spreads now. And remember, the important thing is that you like it and that it works for you. Have a great weekend. Happy planning. Take care and see you soon.